While preparations are made for a freight interchange at the quay, a ballast train must be diverted through Farcliff. control panel to accomplish all that turned out to be a little bit more complicated than I originally anticipated. At first I was going to just set up roots, you know, cross over here, and I wired up the double slip to do that. Trouble is, the double slip is not that simple. Sometimes, in certain combinations, that worked fine, but in other combinations, it did not work at all. So, out of desperation, in the end, so that I had a working junction, I had to add these, reverse and norm. And to understand what all that meant, I had to make a chart. So the green route brings you into Moor. The gray route sends you through the junction without turning off. The red route allows you to leave Moor and get on the track going the other way and be on the correct track. And of course, over here, the blue is if you, for some reason, would want to cross over from, well, it would be an awkward crossover, but just so that I could do it if I wanted to for some reason, you know, and not be going up into Moor or coming out of it. I went ahead and developed a blue route too, just in case, you know. But that's the only way I could come up with to do it. I mean, if you had a little computer that could set the routes for you, but the tortoise motor operates by changing the polarity. So with the plus on one side and minus on the other, it goes one way, and then if you reverse that so that those two are reversed, then it moves the other way. Plus, of course, you want the light to light when this turn out and this one up here are in the correct position. It might have been simpler in the end to just put every tortoise motor on its own switch. Of course, this route works perfectly. This is the down main to freight. And those are two tortoise motors wired up together so that the polarity is such that when you switch that switch, it turns on the light, and they both switch correctly to make that route. I know it looks insane, but it does work as demonstrated. Once I had it worked out and got the chart made, I have not had any problems setting the routes. It's worked every time, as long as I remember to set them. I think I'm going to laminate this and put it on the pole or something. Let's go over and take a look at the junction, keeping this in mind. And I'll get this out of the way. So we have, coming into Moor, you go through here, through the double slip, and come up and onto this track. This has to be set in the correct position, which it is right now if you're coming in. Maybe I can get the camera higher. I'll be right back. There's really a lot happening right here. This crossover from the down main over to the freight line is easy. Easy peasy. Just set the two tortoise motors so that they're either facing each other or away from each other, and the rest is pretty simple. Actually, you can still make it work even if they're both facing the same way, which means they have to move in the opposite direction to make the crossover work. But you could do that by switching two wires. But it's this little devil right here. The troubling part. But I did get it worked out. If anybody's interested in how I did it and how all this crazy wiring works under here, I spent 2 days under this table working on it until I got it working right. Because for some reason, the first one worked perfectly. The first rev norm switch. The other one was supposed to be wired opposite so that it would work in the opposite fashion. Well, I wired it the same. So at any rate, I connected it all up, threw the switch, nothing happened. Threw the switch the other way, nothing happened. Well, why doesn't it work? It's all wired up just like the first one. Took me a long time to figure out that what I didn't do was reverse the leads. Because the first one, the leads were straight. On the second one, the leads had to be reversed to work. Someday maybe I'll make a wiring diagram of what I did. But it just about drove me nuts before I figured it all out and got it working. But it does work now. It's remarkable. It does work. And it works wonderfully. Trains at high speed can go flying through there. Not a problem. This side is no big deal because they're just regular points. But this little devil is the trickola. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Mostly it was a demonstration of it all working. I guess you could notice that the Farlanders are out in force to see this wondrous new spur working. And hopefully later on this week I can start working on this curved platform. That block, that plinth over there is not permanent. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me also add that the Class 43, that was really the star of this show, and the episode in the series is also 43, just barely got here in time, and I have not had a chance to run it in or really fully test it at all. But I will commence on that as soon as I get this edited and uploaded. Bye from Farland. Next on Farland, as you know, my Mobius died. This doesn't work. I now have a Foxeer Legend 2, which is slightly longer, only a tiny bit longer than the Mobius, and a little thinner. And we'll explore that next time we get together in Farland.